It's time for another episode of Bedlam Buds, and it's a breaking news episode as we're learning this afternoon, Friday afternoon, December 26th, Boxing Day across the world, that Michigan, that's right, get the Kangaroos. Good day, mate. That Michigan, I've been trying to
I'm boxing. Not
uh,
kangaroo.
uh, Michigan has a new football coach. Did you hear?
I did hear.
And it's somebody who I think would be very good at boxing.
Probably so. I mean, you got a kind of a crotchety old man that's been there and done that, coming out of retirement. Are you kidding me? It's
Right.
the perfect boxing story.
But first, let's introduce ourselves. My name is Ryan. Boomer Sooner, touchdown. Boomer Sooner, this is my buddy Jeremy.
Go Pokes.
Well, we wanted to hop on here and talk a little bit of University of Michigan football. Not that it is directly relevant to Oklahoma or Oklahoma State. However, the trickle down is everywhere in college football. Utah's loss, Kyle Whittingham decided to retire a couple of weeks ago, and now he's finalizing a deal to become the new Michigan head coach. I've always been a fan, as you can see from my name here, a Kyle Whittingham fan. I'm a fan of Kyle Whittingham. When OU was looking for a coach a few years ago, I thought Kyle Whittingham would have been a great choice for Oklahoma. He's solid, he's stable, and he's a winner. What do you think of the choice?
I think it's a great choice for Michigan. I think it is and as kind of been put out there by some other agencies, but it's basically a 180-degree shift culturally from what they had under Moore and Harbaugh before Moore. I think that he brings in some old school mentality. He's a little bit, he's a defensive guy, hard nose, likes that hard nose type of defense, good with quarterbacks, which is always a plus, as we've mentioned multiple times. But he's kind of, it's almost like hearkening back to Schembechler and that Michigan's trying to bring in some of that old school type of mentality, not necessarily a straight up Michigan guy by any stretch, but get back to that old hard nosed, grinded out type of mentality that Michigan used to have back when they were being successful. So I like it for Michigan.
I completely agree. And one of the things we talked about before we hopped on here is that Kyle Whittingham is that 180 from Sherrone Moore, a 180 from Jim Harbaugh, whose legacy, frankly, is tainted. The Wolverines, in my estimation, are the Houston Astros of college football. That was a national championship that should absolutely have an asterisk by it. They are cheaters. They were cheaters that year.
Not only sign stealing, but also recruiting violations.
Right. And this is a pattern under their athletic director, Ward Manuel. Ward Manuel, who played for Michigan back in 86 to 89 under Bo Schembechler, but those two aren't his only issues. If you don't mind me, I'm just going to share a few words here from an opinion column from Nancy Armour of USA Today. The headline, A.D. Ward Manuel created Michigan's lawless environment. He should go. The lead, Sherrone Moore isn't the only person in Michigan's athletic department who should be out of a job. And I should note, Boomer Sooner, but Sherrone Moore, he's a Sooner. Yeah. He not only played for Oklahoma, he may have done a little coaching for Oklahoma, but either he played for Oklahoma under Bob Stoops a couple years. The Moore allegations and quote, inappropriate relationship with the staffer are seedy enough, but the Michigan athletic department has long been a cesspool, and that's squarely on athletic director Ward Manuel. And that is completely the opposite of who we have at our schools in Joe Castiglione and I can't remember.
Chad Weiberg.
Yeah. I was starting to say Chip. Chad Weiberg. That's right. But, OU, OSU these days running very clean programs.
Absolute class.
Nancy writes, there was the basketball coach who smacked an opposing assistant in the face, not to be confused with that same coach's altercation with someone on his own staff. There was the toxic and misogynistic atmosphere in the hockey program. There was the gymnastics coach fired after police found him engaged in sexual activity with a student in a car. There was a football sign stealing scandal and the recruiting violations uncovered during the sign stealing scandal. The failure to monitor the laundry list of staffers who've been arrested or sanctioned by the NCAA. And those are just the things that we know about. I don't see, Jeremy, a universe in which Kyle Whittingham, an active member of the Latter day Saints of Jesus Christ, a Mormon, there's no way he coexists with Ward Manuel.
Uh, That's a great question. It's a great point because, again, Whittingham is a very straight-laced, very by-the-book business type of guy, and he is walking into what is apparently a lawless atmosphere with just the things that you mentioned, and it goes deeper than that. There had to be some kind of agreements made. There had to be some kind of concessions made. You think that for Whittingham to take a job into that type of atmosphere, and it had to come from somebody other than Manuel, you would have to guess. It'd have to come from the regents or the president of the university, because Manuel's on thin ice as well. And I view this as a type of hire he is doing to save his job because of all of the, and it wasn't just football that was breaking the rules or having issues. It was multiple sports across multiple avenues. And so I see this as him trying to save his job because football drives the bus. Okay. And certainly at Michigan, it's a football school. And so by trying to clean up the image of Michigan football, they're trying to clean up the image of Michigan athletics, which honestly I think is the move that they need to make for Michigan, for the Wolverines. So I see this as Manuel trying to kind of again, not save face, but maybe try to change the trajectory of Michigan sports, but with his past kind of being checkered, I think is a polite way to say it. Let's see how it works out.
If Manuel was the one to make this decision, he may have been big-footed by the president in this case, and this is a sign that Manuel is on his way out. That might be the next announcement, because if you're going to hire a guy of Kyle Whittingham's stature, who he was at Utah right after Urban Meyer, he already took over for a Crete. Now, Urban Meyer wasn't known as that. He wasn't known as that at the time, but he did take over, and he was just the absolute face of stability and strength and calmness and grace and all that. He's just a, I mean, he's kind of their Brent Venables. But he was just solid, super solid guy. And you wonder what discussions were happening in Michigan as to what coach they wanted. Did Ward select Kyle Whittingham? Did somebody else look toward Whittingham? And if you're Whittingham, don't you have to want to have a say in who the GM is going to be? The GM is not below or above the coach. It works alongside the coach. And if you're Kyle Whittingham, you want to know that you can work with your GM, and you want to have faith in your athletic director. And again, I wonder how that will work. Now, Jeremy, on the field, and I will refer to a Newsweek article here from just a couple of days ago. Headline: Michigan could lose 25 players to transfer portal before Citrus Bowl against Texas. The lead from Michael Gallagher. It's not been a banner December for the Michigan Wolverines, who fired head coach Sherrone Moore, lost offensive coordinator Chip Lindsey to Missouri, and could lose five-star quarterback Bryce Underwood to the transfer portal. Let's full stop right there. I think with Kyle Whittingham's history with quarterbacks, Cam Rising, Tyler Huntley, Devon Dampier, and Bird Micklin from my Muskogee Roughers, who coming into Utah, those types of quarterbacks are kind of like Bryce Underwood. I think Michigan saves Bryce Underwood with this move.
I would assume so, and I would assume that it would save not all of those players. You're always going to have attrition in this situation, but I would imagine that there's going to be quite a few of those players that can go, shoot, if he can do that at Utah, what can he do here at Michigan with us? And so I fully expect Michigan to be able to salvage quite a bit of that, including the quarterback. You're right.
Well, that's what we have right now, folks. It's breaking news. I don't know that it's official. There's not a news conference scheduled, but I've seen all the big guys out there, the Joel Klatz, folks out there on Twitter congratulating Michigan on what will be considered a great hire. I do think that the reaction to this is going to be universally that they picked a great guy to be head coach of Michigan. And if I'm Ohio State, I'm like, well, crap.
Well, and if that happens, then that's just another win for Michigan because, if they can win by hiring a great dude and at the same time irritate Ohio State, that's a double win.
It has been said by people who know a lot more than I do about this that the University of Michigan actually might be the best public university in America. Ann Arbor, a great college town, I don't know what they're going to do with Ward Manuel in that situation, but frankly, they deserve better than what they've had the past few years. It shouldn't be winning at all costs, and I think even in the NIL world, I think that the guys who succeed long term, it's not going to fall under shady practices like it might have in the '70s and '80s.
No, I absolutely agree. The NIL might get you in the door, but there's always the next NIL. It's building relationships, it's building up credibility and consistency with your players, showing them how you can improve them. That's the type of thing that eventually will win out over what's kind of happening now, which is guys just jumping ship to ship to ship to ship. But I agree. It's going to be as much about building relationships, showing consistency, and showing I can improve you. And again, I think Michigan's made a great hire, and he will do that.
I agree. That's Jeremy from Oklahoma State.
Go Pokes.
Ryan from OU. We were both students there a long time ago, and we talk sports, but we don't only talk OU and OSU. Clearly, we're talking some Michigan football right now. So if you stumble upon this because you're a Wolverine fan, we actually want to hear from you. I mean, the Sooners and Cowboys chime in, but if you're a Wolverines fan, if you're an Ohio State fan, put your comments below and let
A
us know
Notre
who you
Dame
think is
fan.
higher. If you're a Notre Dame fan, that's right. You're competing in that general Midwestern area. Put the comments below. If you catch this on podcast, leave us a 5-star review. That helps us get picked up in the algorithm. And until next time, it's a Boomer Sooner for me.
Go Pokes for me.